What is your gut instinct like? I think Marner's gone. I personally
It feels that way. Yeah, I think that's safe money, and I think the odds continue to move in that direction.
Yeah.
And
But I think he's gone from both sides. Like I think, the Leafs would probably be best served. Now listen, he's a hell of a player, and that's 100 points you got to replace. But I think both sides would agree. It's like, okay, something has to give here. And the other two are under contract, and Tavares is going to be 35 next year. So it's one player, really, we're circling, and Mitch Marner controls his own destiny.
yeah, what I'm curious about is, what the aftermath looks and sounds like if that happens. If he signs somewhere else, let's say he goes to Anaheim on July 1st.
Right.
Does he play the game? Do other people play the game on what happened, why he left? Does it matter at that point? Maybe it won't. How do the Leafs handle the PR standpoint and the PR spin? Because again, the reality is this guy is one of the all-time great Leafs.
Yeah.
That's what he is. And yes, in big games it hasn't been great. He's not alone. Yes, they never ultimately won, but the stats, the performance, 9 years is an eternity in pro sports. He was drafted, developed. He grew up in Toronto, loved the Leafs. There is a point down the road where I would think the reputation is going to try and be molded back into a positive light. And
Let me ask you this. If he does choose to go play somewhere else, what happens? Is his number retired or?
I wouldn't be surprised.
But
What's the mini Jerry on it? Let's say Marner leaves on July 1st and never returns at any point in his career, which is likely. Once you're gone, you're probably not coming back.
Well,
What's your mini Jerry?
What is he on team points for the franchise?
He's top 10 for sure. I think he's top 5 in both, or top 5 in assists for sure. Look that up, Doogie, and find that out.
I think I'm top 5 in a lot of stuff in Carolina, and I don't even get a phone call from them, so that doesn't mean squat.
There you go. I mean, now Carolina doesn't have the same history as the Maple Leafs, but you were there for 10 years,
yeah,
right? This guy's been here for 9. I'd say the mini Jerry on 16 going to the Raptors, 33%.
Why that number? Why is it? I thought you would say 80.
1 and third, 1 and 3. I don't know. I mean, there it is. Okay, franchise ranks. Let me read these through.
Okay. 14.
Tied for even strength points. He's 7th all time in the playoffs. He's actually tied for 9th. Points in general, he's 5th all time.
So he's 5th all time in points in the franchise?
Yes. So he's top 5 in points. He's 4th in assists. He's actually 5th in playoff points, which is amazing.
Well, remind me, though, who's in the rafters right now that, is it Salming? Is it...
I don't even think you can ever do that, Jamie, because everyone's up there for different reasons and has
that's
different
what I mean.
stats, and there's different eras. You just have to look at that right there and say, is that going in the rafters?
For me, it's no. I'll tell you why. Because he's a great player, but...
I know, but if you're top 5 in points, isn't that a yes?
So
top 5
for a lot of teams, it would be a yes.
Are the four ahead of him in the rafters?
Well, yes. I mean,
without knowing
Sundin, Sittler, and I'm guessing it's Salming. Maybe Matthews. I think might be in the top 5. Matthews obviously isn't up there. He's going to go up.
Right.
What if Matthews got traded on July 1st? Is 34 going up?
There's a lot of hardware attached to him.
I hear you.
That's the difference. There's hardware.
I'm saying yes to both of them.
Where do you draw the line? What about 88?
Well, 88's still here.
Oh, no, I understand. I feel like that's a lock. If Willie's here for another 7 years and plays 18 years as a Maple Leaf, he's going to own every single record.
Yes.
It's a lock. He's going up.
Yes.
I think he gets a statue on Legends Row.
Well, I think
does there have to be team success? And another thing with Marner is, does the exit have anything to do with that?
That's what I'm asking.
Because let's be honest, when he left, they were booing him every time he touched the puck that last game. And I know that's just kind of one isolated five-minute stretch of hockey, but that's an awkward exit.
The boos were...
It was the whole team, but when he touched the puck, I know,
booed.
but when he touched the puck, they gave it to him. That's a fact. Right or wrong, this is not an opinion. It's factual information coming across the airwaves. I just don't know how that would affect the jersey going in the rafters.
Well, and that's, I guess, what I'm driving at. How long does it take for the dust to settle? No one's suggesting it's going up the first time he rolls back through town. It's after he retires 15 years from now.
And keep in mind, your legacy gets stronger the farther out you are because people look at the cold hard stats. So you're right. Top 5 in top 5 in points. If he stays there for years, people will go, Why isn't, why aren't we celebrating him? I think there is an opportunity. I also believe if he leaves, at some point in his career, he will come back. I don't know why. It might even be a one-gamer or whatever. You're one-gamer.
No, I don't think the one-day that is something where you got to consider the way you the way you leave, the way it's portrayed, the way you talk about it. And again, we'll wait to see how that happens. What that looks and sounds like. If this happens, who knows? Maybe he resigns with the Leafs.
He might resign.
But we're speaking hypothetically. If he leaves, how does he respond to it? How does he speak about it? How does he look back on it? What happens the first time he rolls back through town? But I think what also would be interesting about it will be a lot of the fan reaction and the fan conversation and debate, and I guess the teams for that matter, will revolve around how the team plays moving forward. And I actually think if they were to win in the future, it would help his case. Because I think it would be a Vince Carter-like scenario where if they don't ever win a Stanley Cup and in 15 years he retires or whatever, and people here are still so jaded and angry and bitter, I don't think it helps.
Or if he goes and wins somewhere else.
Even that, but I think it's more about Toronto. Like, again, when the Raptors won in 19, that was therapeutic for a lot of Raptor fans. A lot of them said, who cares about the past? Bring Vince back. Hey, Alonzo Mourning, come on up. Like, It was like, who cares about how bad it was?
Right.
This team won. We got to experience it. Everything's all good. I think the same thing would apply with Marner, where if they were to win even without him, it would help his cause in the future for people to just settle their nerves and settle their reaction in terms of looking back on his career.
It could have gone a lot different, let's be honest. Mitch was a fantastic player. You just saw the stats right there. They speak for themselves. It could have been a lot different. How the contracts went, just his media management. But the biggest thing is the winning.
Yeah.
The winning didn't happen. And that's you could talk about a lot of these guys. The end of the line when we're looking back on this and talking about it, it would be so much different if there was winning involved. And all of them get statues. All of them jerseys.
And to his point, though, it would be false of us and false of everybody to go, he's the reason. Everybody's culpable.
Well, exactly.
That's the one thing that has to be pointed out here. Mitch Marner was not the problem. There's everybody as a group didn't get over that hump.
Yep.
As that group. He's a fantastic player. I could see him being retired. It just depends on, again, I'm looking at it, what's the threshold? I just don't know what that threshold is.
Listen, there's a lot, unfortunately, with this organization, there's a lot of great players that never won. But their numbers are up there and they're on Legends Row.
Here's the other thing, too. If he ends up being a Hall of Famer, he might go and win a gold medal next year and on another, another team,
I don't know how that
type of stuff
matters for the Maple Leafs necessarily in terms of the way they feel about it, but I hear you. I mean, it's all possible in the future.
How many years did Sundin play here? 13?
Yeah, he got here 94 and then left in 08, 09.
Yeah, so longer.
Yeah, and he owns all the stats. Like, Matt's is number one in every category.